Hey everyone, Evan here. You might notice that this is pretty different from my usual content. There's no clips, there's no analysis. These are just me answering your questions with a little added stuff that I will explain later. There are two reasons that I'm doing it. First of all, enjoy the sound of rain. Super relaxing. This is basically ASMR. That being said, there are basically two reasons I'm doing this Q&A. One, and the biggest reason, is it's a 300 sub special. Thanks to all of you who subscribed. I'm super honored, and you guys are all super awesome. And here's to the future. So I decided I'd answer some questions, teach you a bit about myself. Second reason, and this is more of the real reason that I'm uploading it now, and not in conjunction with my usual videos. My computer and my external hard drive, where I keep all of the clips that I use for my videos, fell apart at the same time. So all my technology is broken except for my iPad and my phone. I'm filming this on my iPad. I'm using my phone to see your questions. It's gonna be a good time. So I figured there has to be some kind of gimmick, right? I can't just answer questions. I mean, I can, but you know, I just had a long shift at work, and I need something to take the edge off. So if you're underage, this is my inhaler. If you're overage, then this is my bomb. And if you're a cop, you can eat my shorts. That's my prop. There we go, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. I'm comedy. So there isn't gonna be any editing in this, so you're gonna get to see me in my unadulterated whatever this is, whatever's going on in my brain. Yeah, so let's, before I get to the first question, time to inhale with my inhaler. You know, all my regulators ran out of fluid, so I have this because I'm extra. Is this? Okay, it is recording. Cool. We're all good. So just give me like 2 seconds. Alright, cool. So, first question. By Opalescent at JK_Creed. Congrats. My question. What is the anime that got you into anime? If the answer is Hunter x Hunter, I apologize. I know how to say it. No judgment if you say Hunter x Hunter, I don't really care. Sorry. What is the anime that got you into anime? If the answer is Hunter x Hunter, are there others? And then there's two questions, but I'll answer that first. You know me so well, I would say Hunter x Hunter, but since I can't say Hunter x Hunter, honestly, Naruto. I watched it after Hunter x Hunter, so I was already kind of into anime. But like at that point, I was mostly just into Hunter x Hunter. I wasn't really into anime. Then I watched Naruto, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm into it. I kind of dropped off at the war arc, which I feel like is not an uncommon experience. Came back to it later. Kind of had to trudge through that part of the story, but other than that, I mean, I love the characters, some interesting philosophies that are brought up. You know, good times, fun fights, fun characters, good character arcs, cool world, that kind of stuff. Second question, same person. What is an underrated show or manga you wish more people knew about? So, I'm not like the hippest cat that's checked out all of the hidden gems that no one's heard of. I've mostly checked out things that you would have heard of. But I will say something controversial. Blue Lock. I enjoyed it. A lot of people, the manga, a lot of people crap on it because they say it's so like so edgy and so just over the top. For sports, it's a manga about soccer where everyone basically kind of has superpowers. I mean, not necessarily superpowers, but it kind of comes off like it's not the most realistic thing in the world, and the premise itself is super over the top. It's manga. I'm not super upset by how over the top it is. If you want to just write it off because it's edgy, you can do that. I mean, I can't tell you what to enjoy, what not to enjoy. I tried to look past the edginess and try and figure out what the philosophies of the characters were and like what their interactions were and what the author is trying to say through the story. And it was almost like a reverse sports manga to me. Like all other sports, the characters start out being alone and being separated. I don't know about all sports anime. The 3 sports anime I've watched, it's people haven't learned how to be a part of a team, and their arc is learning how to be a part of the team. And in this story, a lot of the characters start trying to be a part of a team. That's where they're coming from, and the story is trying to break that down, make them really believe in their own ego and not rely on anyone else. And while a lot of it is super over the top and edgy or whatever, I think a lot of it's really interesting and the characters are fun. It's just good times. So I recommend it. If you don't like it, that's cool. I'm not gonna tell you have to. Next question. Shonen OG at Shonen_OG asks 3 favorite Nen abilities in Hunter x Hunter. Okay, this is a fun one because I like Hunter x Hunter. So I'm not gonna order these. I'm not gonna say like my favorite, second favorite, third favorite. I'm just gonna name 3. The first that comes to mind is I always forget this guy's name, but I have it written down. Rihan's ability, which is called Predator. And if you haven't read the manga, this isn't like really a spoiler. I mean, he's not a super influential character as of now. And he totally is, but like not. It's complicated. Don't worry about it. It's complicated. It's a succession war arc. It's complicated. But anyway, his ability, basically, he has to deduce as much as he can about his opponent's ability, and then the more accurate he gets, and the more conditions and restrictions and all of that he figures out, he'll create this Nen beast. I think it's inside of him, or yes, it's inside of him, and he makes it, and the more deductions he got, the more powerful the Predator will be, and it'll basically be this Nen beast that's created that will eat the other. That's at least what we saw. It'll attack. It'll whatever is the best way to defeat that ability is what his Predator will turn into. And I don't know if you've seen my Nen ability video about what my Nen ability is. I'm going to be plugging it later, so I'm not going to plug it now, even though I am totally plugging it now. But don't worry about it. It's complicated. It's a succession war. I totally lost my train of thought in saying that. But yeah. It's very similar to my ability in terms of they're both based around deducing things about our opponents. Mine's very different, and even the form of deduction is different, but it's complicated. It's a succession war. I feel like that's going to be the meme for the rest of this video. Maybe not. Maybe I'll forget it. I don't know. I have a terrible memory. Okay. Great. Next question. Thank you everyone who's asking. All of you. You guys are awesome. I asked on Twitter. You guys asked. You guys answered with questions, and now I'm answering questions with answers. So there we are. Gracie at GracieVV asked, favorite aspect of Hunter x Hunter? I'm gonna need a little help on this question. So, well, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna start just musing because that's a very complicated question, and there's a lot of parts of Hunter x Hunter, and I don't want to cop out by saying too many things, and at the same time, to just say one thing feels a bit reductive. So, one of the things I really love about Hunter x Hunter is how everything intersects. Like, for instance, and this isn't the only story that does this, and at the same time, the stories that do this, I really resonate with. All my favorite stories do this. It takes who the characters are, and it takes their arcs, and then it takes the world that they live in, and it takes the philosophies of how they all interact, all combined, and they all create some larger thesis. It doesn't have to be a singular thesis. It just has to be some kind of concepts or theme, I guess, is like the word that people who do writing say. And it'll all intersect and it'll all fit together to create a much larger picture. Like, it's not like just, like this character has a cool arc and this character has a cool arc. And that's interesting. And then, and it's a really well fleshed out world. And also there are some interesting philosophies that are brought up. But when all those things combine into this one fabric that creates the whatever you make with fabric, clothes, the outfit of the series. And so, the outfit in this series, even though I'm colorblind and I can't really tell how, well outfits are put together, Hunter x Hunter, it just all of the things that happen in it fit together so well to create one cohesive thing, and that's part of what I love about it. So there you go. It's complicated. It's the succession war arc. Okay, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on YouTube. I still haven't really figured that one out. I mean, I think you're kind of, but I'm just gonna, and I'm not editing any of this, so I can't like add a bleep later, which would be awesome to add a bleep. But I'm just gonna say the guy's name. Literature F word boy. You know what I mean. At Literature F boy, which actually I could have just said it like that. I didn't even have to do the whole hemming and hawing thing earlier. Have you ever thought about making fan fiction or fan fiction analysis of any kind? As the CEO of fan fiction, I am pretty much obligated to ask this question. Well, first of all, I'm honored to be asked a question by the CEO of fan fiction. That's like, I mean, that's a pretty big empire to I totally said that I needed some help with the last question, but I just answered it. Well, you know, I'm sure I'll need help with another question. So, have I ever thought, well, I have written fan fiction. One a long time ago, one like maybe 2 years ago. It was right after I watched Hunter x Hunter, and it was a Killua X Gon thing. It wasn't like X-rated. They're kids. I didn't do anything weird. It was, you know, it was like one of them having a crush on the other. In the end, they like smooch each other. It's not like, it wasn't sexual, none of that. But you know, I did that, and then recently I wrote another fan fiction, first chapter of a fan fiction, also Killua and Gon, and this one's like totally nothing romantic. This is just like pure friendship. It's kind of an alternate universe where Killua was hired to assassinate Gon before they met. So it's like it's still kind of a similar character arc, but it's basically just an alternate. Yeah, it's a fan fiction. It's a fiction written by a fan. And do I plan on doing any analysis of fan fiction? That's funny that you would say that, because I was thinking when I get to 420 subscribers, I might do an analysis of My Immortal. And now, if you don't know what My Immortal is, it is a Harry Potter fan fiction, but with like vampires, and that's not like what it is, because what it is just this. So it's written so terribly, so many misspelled words, so many things that just don't make sense. The timeline doesn't make sense. The story doesn't make any sense. Almost every other paragraph is just a really long description of like, oh, I had long black hair and this fishnets, and it's just like it's all kind of like jumbled. None of it really makes that much sense. But it's oh, I almost lost it. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, and I wanna do a little analysis of it. You know, really draw some very profound conclusions from the questions raised and the characters, and you know, really dig deep into this story that I know is just so much more than what we all think it is, and what I even think it is, because I just described it as what it is, you know. But if I get to 420 subscribers, I will find a way to make it really complicated. I'll find a way to make it the Succession War. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Another question. Literature F boy. Same person. Would you condone anime DNA splicing if it meant Meruem, Pitou, and Shiapoof, etc. could exist? See, okay, there's two parts that I have to answer, because I don't necessarily have anything against animal DNA splice. Sorry, I keep saying I think animal, but it's anime. So I'm gonna pretend that you said animal, because I don't even understand how anime DNA splicing would be possible, because there isn't anime DNA. Like, if we could somehow take code and translate that into DNA in a way where the same information would relay. So if we could create, I don't know, if hypothetically we could do that, specifically to make these people, no, because they try. I mean, that would be really bad for all of us, probably. I mean, actually, I'd rather have Meruem be the president. We don't have to get into that. Of the world, that we don't have to get into that either. Yeah, Meruem would be pretty sick, actually. So I'm gonna change my answer halfway through. Hell yeah, I would do. Yeah, let's do it. I was gonna say no. I was planning on saying no. I read all these questions like once beforehand, just to try and just thought about each of them for like a minute, and just like tried to, so that I don't get on here and have to think for 10 minutes every time. But I was originally gonna say no. Yes, I would absolutely condone anime DNA splicing. Let's do it. Furphy versus anime, hashtag Black Lives Matter at Furphy1 asks, I probably didn't need to read the hashtag, that's like an extra. I mean, in my name I'm like BLMACAB, so like you probably don't have to say that when you say the name. I would edit all that out, but I can't, so you know, I mean I probably could, but whatever. What inspired you to start AniTube? So I'm pretty sure I go more depth into part of this question later on, or maybe I don't. So I'm just gonna go in depth into it now, and if I say it later on, I will just be like, oh, I already explained that. So before I did AniTube, I was a jazz drummer. I caught the bug my freshman year of high school. I saw this kid. I hadn't really been passionate about anything music-wise previously. I'd been forced to play instruments since I was 4. That's a whole other thing, but, you know, come to freshman year of high school, I don't really care. I played jazz drums, but I never practiced, and I just, you know, I played in the jazz band, I know how to go ting, 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 and I thought that's what jazz was, and, you know, whatever, I thought what a lot of people think, oh, jazz is boring. I go to my freshman year of high school, I see this person playing in the bedroom, and I mean, he's playing the most complex, polyrhythmic, I don't even know if you know, like, whatever, just like this kind of like West African influenced thing with like another, with a jazz thing with it, with kind of a drum and bass added. So it was just like some mind blowing shit. Well, there it is. There it is. Mind blowing stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of, so that got me really into music. And after that day, I mean, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. every day, went to school 2 hours early to practice, stayed after school until I got kicked out by security practicing. Jazz was my life. I did that. That was all I did. And so I get to the time I'm supposed to be applying to colleges. I apply to, music conservatory in New York. I end up going, have a great, like, it's an incredible experience. And then, like, 2/3 of the way through the year, I watched Hunter x Hunter for the second time. The first time I watched it was like, and really, it was whatever. I mean, I loved it, and it was great, but it was just, it was like, oh yeah, cool story. I watched it the second time, and it blew my mind so hard that I was like, man, I'm going to this conservatory, all I have time to do is play music. And like, dang it, I want to freaking do some anime stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. My whole like world, like, not my whole worldview, but just my idea of what writing even is and what the purpose of writing totally changed. Before I was just like, oh yeah, it's fun to tell stories, and Hunter x Hunter really like switched that in me. And so I was like, I gotta drop out. I gotta try and do something. And I decided, okay, eventually I wanna write my own story. That's my goal. That's why I'm doing all this, because I wanna improve myself as a writer. And so what's the best way for me to improve as a writer? I'll study. I'll write essays on stories. I'll try and analyze. I'll try and pick them apart, figure out what makes them tick. And I might as well do that with my favorite stories. And I need to hold myself accountable, because if I don't, I just won't. So I need to make a schedule for myself. And I might as well make something for people to experience. Like, creation is important to me. I want to be creating something, because I'm not doing as much music these days. I mean, obviously, I write all my backing tracks. I write all that. So, like, I do play some music, but it's not like before where I'm practicing all day. So yeah, that's what inspired me to start AnyTube. I want to write a story because of Hunter x Hunter, and I want to study how to write, and I'm deciding to do that by studying stories and writing essays about them and doing that. So that's my answer, really long answer, but I kind of went through everything. So, Ian at Be More Brass, sick name by the way. What's been your favorite moment of the channel /YouTube /making videos so far? And what are you most excited to do moving forward? So, that's a really complicated question. And I actually am going to need some help with this question, so I'm just going to think about it for like 2 seconds while I do this. Okay, so in that time, I came up with a total cop-out, so you guys are all going to be super satisfied with this answer, but I can't think of a single moment. There's not one moment that's been my favorite. There's one type of moment that is always my favorite, and that's just interacting with people that appreciate, that like, not even necessarily appreciate what I do, because it's not always about my interactions with people that have seen my videos, but the fact that making these videos is what made me create a Twitter account, which is where I do most of my interaction these days. I haven't hung out with a person since March because of quarantine, and I'm paranoid. And it's cool. So yeah, but wow, I can't believe I just said that on camera. That's cool. But that's out there. I mean, not that that's that weird. I'm sure that's a lot of people are doing that. So yeah, so my favorite thing is just interacting with people that are passionate about this and about storytelling in general. And the way I got to speaking with these people and you people is by creating this channel, and so that led to all these interactions, and that is my favorite part. I can't really say I have a favorite moment, so cop out. And second part of the question, and what are you most excited to do moving forward? Well, that is a good question. So there's something I've had in the back of my mind that I haven't wanted to tell anyone, and I haven't wanted to mention, in terms of like this channel. And part of me just wants to say it right now, because obviously I'm real loosed up, And I want to do a little disclaimer at the beginning that I would probably only be able to do this if I was ever able to do YouTube either full-time or YouTube plus Patreon plus, there's another thing that I'm probably going to do for money on the internet, but you guys don't need to know about that. It's not illegal, so that's not a thing. Shorts, eat them if you're worried about that. Yeah, but I haven't wanted to tell anyone about this, and I'd only be able to do it if I was ever doing this full time, because I don't have the energy to do this on top of what I'm doing with the job I have, which takes a lot out of me. But I'm thinking of doing what ifs, like trying to rewrite Hunter x Hunter, starting with Hunter x Hunter, by changing one thing. And so much of what Hunter x Hunter is this. I forgot who described it like this, and I'm totally a jerk for like not shouting them out. But this is not my thought. But someone said that Hunter x Hunter, some YouTuber said that Hunter x Hunter is like, and if you know, like, comment this and I'll pin your comment, and you can also like plug your own thing. So yeah, so there's some incentive to figure out what this is. But they said it's like a game of pool, where, you know, one character makes an action, and then the way that everything in the story is created. I think they were talking specifically about the Palace Invasion, but I'd argue that it's like this the entire series. And the story is just the way they bounce off of each other. So it hits it, and because of this action, this hits this, and because of that, and it creates this giant chain where like every small action makes a really big difference. So I want to make a version of the story where I just change one little thing, like I was thinking, my original story idea was, what if Killua opened up to Gon, right after, like as he noticed Gon kind of going into darkness in the Chimera Anarch. Like, what if right at the beginning he opened up and Gon expressed himself and Killua expressed himself, and they, you know, let their stuff out. How would the story be different? Because the story would be astronomically different. I think Gon probably wouldn't transform in the end. But then maybe Pito would kill them. I mean, I don't know who's gonna. People might die. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I mean, the story would be leading me. I mean, Togashi built these characters. I'd just be trying to bounce them in a different way, right? So that would be my goal. Anyway, I went really into detail into a thing that I was planning to not talk about at all. So there it is. Yeah, so that's probably what I'm looking forward to most, and that's not including like writing my own story, because I think this is in the context of like my channel, making videos and writing stories like that. So, whew, that really helped with a long answer. Favorite Berserk moment? Oh, sorry, let me say who this is. Saxy at Saxy23 asks, favorite Berserk moment, excluding the horse and the 2016 adaptation, of course, because those are everyone's favorites. Good point. They're not. I mean, I know it's sarcasm, so. I don't condone the actions of that horse, obviously. I don't condone most of the actions in Berserk, except for Guts. Everything he does is okay, except with Casca and that one thing. Spoilers, sorry. I mean, I didn't spoil anything. It doesn't matter. No one, whatever. My favorite moment is probably when Shiarki, not 100% how to pronounce that, but I think that's about right, is protecting the church against the trolls, right? Spoilers, obviously, although not really. Actually, not really spoilers. This doesn't really spoil anything. This is just a philosophy moment. And I don't have this moment in front of me, but this priest from the church comes up and sees Shiarki, you know, doing this big magic thing, you know, making magic happen. And he's like, you know, heretic, you don't believe in the one God, you know, you're a sinner. And she basically says, and this is a total not quoting, but this is the gist of it, that the gods that these people worship are incarnations in a way of the true beings that exist. And the reason that they don't get the same powers is because they're believing in it as a doctrine. They're like, they think they're not looking for it. They have a preconceived notion of what it is. And to create magic is to look at the universe and really understand it from not only your point of view, but from like trying to see as many points of view. I mean, that's more me injecting in my own thing, sorry. But you know, seeing it for yourself instead of taking answers from other people. And that really resonates with me, and I think that's a super fascinating take on kind of a magic system, that's how it works. And that's extended on other scenes and stuff, but that's just a moment where I really liked that it was, you know, saying that what we believe in is a part of the truth. It's one aspect, and it's our way of interpreting it, and at the same time, we're not truly looking at it we are looking at our own perception of it. So or like our preconception of it. So, you know, that was a really esoteric, whatever. There was a reason. I put some water here, so I'm just going to take a little sip. Gin? I'm assuming it's Gin. It might be it's definitely Gin. It's definitely Gin. I know this guy. He's cool. Good YouTuber. Check him out. I'll do a thing. It'll be over. I don't know if I can do that with subscriptions. If I can, I'll do one of his videos. But at Ginkgo Taku. I should be able to say this easily. I read it all the time, but I don't say it out loud ever. I don't say any of this out loud ever. I don't really, whatever. Is there one moment in anime/manga that you knew you truly loved the medium? If there is one moment in anime/manga that you knew you truly... Okay, I think it's... Okay, if one moment in anime manga... Is there a moment in anime/manga that made you realize that you loved the medium? Sorry, I had to figure that out. What would it be? That's a really hard question because I have a terrible memory. Like, awful memory. Just the worst. I can't even, like it's so bad. So... I know that that moment happened the second time I watched Hunter x Hunter. I know it happened because before my life was one way and after my life was another way. So obviously there was a moment, like there's at least like some kind of, or I don't know what it would have been, but there had to have been something. But that was like more than a week ago. No, that's an exaggeration. But it was a while ago and I don't remember what the moment was. I could guess, like my best guess would probably be when they're doing the Requiem for Uvogin, he goes, dun dun, like that might have been the moment. That seems like a moment that would have happened. That's the first moment in this show for me where that's got that level of impact that I think of when I think of Hunter x Hunter's climaxes. It has that, where everything that's been built up for so long just kind of boom, bah, and that moment's just so perfect. But that's an assumption. I don't remember. The last moment I can remember that reaffirmed my love for the medium, because I think that's less of a cop-out than saying this is probably it, was reading Haikyuu. Every moment I've read a Haikyuu chapter, actually, for the last while now. It's really good. It's really good. It's messed up how good it is. Like, I'm not sure I would put it, like, in terms of my favorites, tied for that first with Hunter x Hunter and Berserk, but it's not that far from second, honestly. It's not like the most complex thing in the world, and that's not what it's about, but it's, oh god, I love it so much. And I don't want to spoil stuff, because you should read it, because a lot of you have probably seen the anime and are thinking, wow, that's a pretty good anime. But if you read the manga, it's so messed up how good it is. Like, it has no, a volleyball, I was so anti-sports for so long. I'm gonna go on a Haikyuu rant right now, so that's what this question is turning into. But I was so anti-sports, like, my whole life. I was an arts kid. I was super judgmental of sports. I was like, I have to believe in this dichotomy between, artists and jocks, and that's a thing that exists in the real world, and I have to divide myself like that. And I lived with that until, like, I read Haikyuu maybe 8 months ago. I mean, that's an arbitrary number. I don't know. It could have been a year, could have been 2 years, could have been 6 months. Like I said, terrible memory, bad sense of time. It couldn't have been a year. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And now I'm super interested in sports. I've watched live action volleyball, which is that blows my mind that I would do that. I would never have watched sports. And it's opened me up to this whole other side of things. I'm getting into baseball because of Diamond No Ace, and and I want to get into sports for the sports themselves, not just anime. It's really opening me up to wanting to talk to people about it. And I'm actually interested in listening to people talk about sports, which I would never have listened to someone through. I mean, I would have listened, but I kind of would have been spacing out. I'm like, oh yeah, sports, da 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 da. But Haikyuu changed my whole perception of sports in general. So is there one moment... So I totally didn't answer the question. I answered a completely different question that I made up. But I was inspired by this question, so thank you again. You really inspired me to answer this question, and I'm sorry that I gave you a cop-out for your actual question. Another F word that we got here. I mean, I already said shit, I'm pretty sure, but I don't think that's as bad as the F word. I don't really know how it works. Maybe that's maybe I shouldn't have said it again. Maybe you only get to say it once. I'm not gonna say the F word. F bigots, idiots, and worthless. T ... I'm assuming it's trash. I think it's trash. It's an intense name, but that's the name. I'm into it. At the Wolfman Hulk asks, favorite anime? And then I'm pretty sure I responded that I'm gonna be on brand with my answer. And then he asked another question. So obviously Hunter x Hunter is my favorite anime. If we're including manga, I tie Berserk with it. Yeah, so next on the thread, same person. Oh yeah, I should have thought of something better. Ha ha ha. I mean, no, you were good. I mean, that's a very fair question. You know, everything's obvious in hindsight. That's how it goes. No worries. How about maybe any advice on living in a society where bigotry is perpetrated? That is a fantastic question, and I'm not going to go on really long. I mean, I might, but I'm not going to, because that's a great question, and it's a complex question, and at the same time, this is a video about anime, and I want to, like, not alienate a bunch of my viewers and make everyone click off at this moment in the video, because people probably already have. But anyway, I can only tell you what my approach is. I can't say I can't really say that I have advice, because what I'm doing, I'm not even sure if it's working, because I feel terrible all the time. But I feel like a lot of people, experience that. I just try, if it's someone that's experiencing a struggle that I can't understand, because I'm not that person, and I'm not people that are affected by that specific thing, I shut up, and I listen, and I try, and I just let in, and all of my preconceived ideas and judgments, I'll feel them. I'll have knee-jerk reactions. I've got stuff internalized. I believe things, I believe that all white people are racist in the way... I probably just made a bunch of you dislike this video and click off. Whatever. I'm not trying to put that on you. It's not a judgment. I'm just saying we live in a society where ideas are pumped into us from a young age, and that's just how it is. Any society would be like that. And, so I try and leave that at the door when I'm talking to someone who has a struggle that I can't comprehend. I don't say, well, no, I've never seen this. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not judging you. I mean, you should be open to people, I think. I mean, that's my whole philosophy. I'm a doormat of a person, but I'm trying not to be. I'm a content creator. I gotta be a responsible person. So, I don't think there's shame in being racist. I think there's shame in letting your thoughts and your beliefs outspeak the people that are experiencing those things. So, in my humble opinion, I think that people should just listen and just let things turn. Don't try and figure out how it's wrong as people are saying it. Like, just just really try. That's what I do. I just really try my best to listen and try my best to understand and empathize. And I know I can truly never understand. This is going on really long. Next question. Thank you for asking that. I'm sorry. Rubber and Gum at bungeegum_4. Yes, love the name. Do you find any parts of Hunter x Hunter that you think could have been done differently or improve it? If you do, which parts and why? I love this question. There are two parts in particular that I have thought since the beginning of watching the show. Not necessarily that they would enhance the story objectively, just things that bothered me personally because of the experiences I've had as a human being. The first moment, when Netero kind of stares at Machi, I believe her name is Machi, Machi's boobs, and it like zooms in on that. It's like, I don't think it really added anything to his character. I mean, I guess it made the subversion of like who he ended up being more, but like, I mean, not really. It just felt like it felt like a pandering to me. It felt like, oh, fans like seeing this, so let me put this in the story. And I don't want to put words in Togashi's mouth. Maybe he just wanted to draw boobs. I don't know. I mean, I'm interpreting things. I don't pretend to know anything about who Togashi is or what he meant when he was writing his stories. I can only say what I think when I experience the stories and how I interpret it. So that's the first moment. Second moment, that's a minor one though. That's like that doesn't ruin the story or whatever. I don't really care that much. Second moment, this is a bigger one, and I almost feel that the inclusion of Aluka in the story was almost an apology for this moment. I'm not sure if apology is the right word, but at least it showed a sense of growth and like an opinion change in the length of the story. But when the group is in Trick Tower and Leorio's doing the betting against Larute, is that her name? Yes, that is her name. I have read this and watched this enough times to know people's name. Yeah, but they're doing the betting thing, and Larute is like, I bet whether I'm a woman or a man, you get check my genitals, and then like Leorio's like, bets that she's a man, and to prove that she's not a man by making sure she doesn't have a penis, he like touches. It's like, like, I'm sure that was a non-thing for most people. For me, someone who like, I spend a lot of my energy and my time trying to just exist as who I am, and people really like to, shit. I just said it twice on me. because of that, and I don't feel like I'm hurting anyone. I don't tell other people they need to be trans. I don't care. You know, you can be whoever you are. I'm just being me. You know, people really gets their shorts in a twist. You know, when when that happens. But you know, I didn't like that scene. It really kind of made me feel bad. That's like, not that I would use the word shitty, but I wouldn't say that word, but I just did, so it doesn't matter. Man, I wonder if I'll get demonetized even though I'm not monetized. Let's do this. Let's get double demonetized. I'll have to pay to put this video up. Yeah, but you know, I would take out that scene. I would just have her bet something else. There's a bunch of, Takashi is a genius. He could come up with some other mind game that a hunter that was super into like hunting game would have done. Like, that was her thing, right? Like, she was super into hunting, or she hunted things. So couldn't she, or sold stuff on the black market? So couldn't she be like, oh, does this animal do this or whatever? And then like, oh, there's an animal. Oh, the examiner let her bring it. I don't know. Like, she could have come up with anything, or just something else. That was just something that came off the top of my head. Yeah. So 2 moments. That's it. Pretty much. Other than that, like, there's really nothing I would change. It's, I don't know if I would say it's flawless, because like what is a flaw? I don't know. That's so subjective. Like, I don't even know if those two things were flaws. Those are just things that I didn't like. I don't think it's objectively negative in the story. But that's not important. Continuing on. Steph this in at Steph the S asks, what nen ability would you say what nen type would you say you are, and what Hatsu/ability would you create? Well, lucky for you, I have a whole video about that, and it'll be up there, so you should click it. Shameless self-promotion on my own thing, so I'm promoting within my thing, which is what most people do. I don't know why I'm making a big deal out of it. I've done it on videos before. I just am not usually talking and watching myself talk to make sure that it's in focus, which it might not even be, because I need glasses, so everything's out of focus. That's a whole other story. So yeah, I would be to say here, I would be a conjurer, because I wouldn't say that I'm high strung, but if I existed in the world of Hunter x Hunter, I would be all over analyzing everything like that. Like, if I could live in this world, like, that is the person I would be, just naturally. Like, it's not like I would want to be that person, just that's what I would become in that place. I would just be like, oh shoot, like, I can actually do all this. I'm gonna dig into this magic system. So yeah, you know. Okay. Aiden Plore, I don't think it's Aden. I've been reading it in my head as Aden, but now as I read it out loud, it's very much more likely Aiden, so I apologize. You're also another person I've talked to a lot, and like, we did a thing. It's, you know, whatever. We're doing it. We're chill. I like you. You're cool. YouTuber. Check him out. I don't know if I can do that. Video. Something. There'll be something there. Maybe. If I remember. I should remember. I should be writing these down. Whatever. I'll remember. I might not. Do it. Yeah. What are your favorite anime and manga other than Hunter x Hunter? So you know me very well. Berserk, obviously, but I'm not gonna just go with that only. Haikyuu, I already said that. After that, I have a really hard time, because there's such a jump in like how much I resonated with stories after that I remember. Ping Pong the animation, fantastic, great, 10 out of 10. Check it out. I mean, Blue Lock was pretty. Definitely not one of my favorites. I just read it super recently, so it's in my brain, and like, I have a terrible memory, like I said. So like, obviously, what I've read more recently, I'll like more. But that's definitely, I wouldn't put that in like my top 5. I don't think off the top of my head. I don't know. I don't even know how to. I did a whole Twitter thread about how I have no idea how to rank things, because there's so many factors. Like, I have to rank like, oh, this is characters this out of 10, you know, plot this out of 10, philosophy this out of 10. Like, I couldn't just be like, oh yeah, this is like a. I guess I could give an overall number, but that wouldn't really express how I feel about this series. Anyway, that's so not important. Next question. Antonio17 at Antonio12XY said, taken from my list of things I always ask at Q&A's list. That's a good thing to have. I should make one of those. What is the reason you started doing what you do? And link to that, what keeps you motivated to continue? So I kind of answered the first one, very much in depth. So thank you for making 2 questions, so that I don't just have to say, oh, you know, nothing. What keeps you motivated to continue? You know, it changes. It changes with time. So when I'm in a better place mentally, it's like, I'm just loving writing the scripts. I love the feeling of like putting all the clips in a way where what I say rhythmically matches with what's happening. I try and make like I try and see where the emphasis is in the sentence, and I try and, you know, take the rhythm of the sentence and like make the clips work with that. And seeing that at the end is really satisfying to me. Like, that really gets me going. I'm like, oh, this feels great. I made like one mistake in my last video. There's one moment where where I left a little bit of the previous thing, so it's like in one clip, so it's like it kind of goes like, and it drives me nuts. But like whatever, it's fine. Not my last video, 2 videos ago. My last analysis video. I posted a song. I'm thinking of posting songs now. You know, why not? It's not instead of anything. It'll be an addition. I did it this time because my hard drive was the first thing to break. I guess they didn't break at the same time. I think I said they broke at the same time earlier. But like within the same week they broke. But my drive broke first, and so all I had was my MIDI keyboard and stuff, and so I just plugged that in. I had my mic. I was like, doo-doo-doo, melody. You should check that out. It'll be here. But yeah, so when I'm in a good place, I'm just loving it, and that's what's motivating me. When I'm like I am now, when I've been in quarantine and like I don't need to get into that whole rabbit hole of my brain stuff. Let's keep this anime, or at least related to your questions. But yeah, now it's basically motivated by anxiety because I very much take my goals seriously and I take my deadlines seriously. I do not miss deadlines. I'm losing my mind a bit right now because I lost the computer and I am not able to post an analysis video on this deadline that no one is holding me to, but I'm holding myself to very strongly. You know, so yeah, mostly I'm being motivated by the fact that I like cannot miss deadlines. I will feel terrible if I miss a deadline. So yeah, next question. Oh god, I think that's an S. Yes, because the at is S. I have deduction, reasoning, names. Yes, do it. That was weird. Stare star at stare underscore 666. Oh, it's a pentagram. It's not just a star. Yeah. You'll return to one place and one time in your life. You'll change only one thing. How do you think it'll affect the future? Example: return to middle school, become cool, won't be bullied, so I won't lose my self-esteem and achieve everything I wanted. Okay, well, I'm gonna be honest, I misread this question the first time I read it, so now I have to be fresh on my feet. What I originally thought the question was like, if you could return to, like, I automatically made it, I phrased it differently. I said, if you could return to one place in time, what would you do? And my original answer was a cop-out where I'd say, like, oh, like, you know, everything, you know, affected me how it did, and I'm like, you know, I don't really want to change who I am. I'm pretty secure with me as a person. Not like I like myself, but like I'm secure with the effect that I put out into the world. Those are two very different things. But yeah, so I was gonna say that I wouldn't change anything, but this isn't that. This is saying you will this is happening. What's gonna change? So I have to come up with I just have to come up with a scenario off the top of my head and just say how it would change. I mean, the hardest one would just to be like, what if I didn't see that person playing drums my freshman year, and like, what if I just didn't get into music? I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't be doing anything. I'd be in such a bad place. Like, I probably wouldn't be an artist. I mean, I'd probably be an artist. I probably would have become an artist. But like, and maybe I would have watched Hunter x Hunter. I mean, I'm sure that would have happened. I wouldn't have had the same friends at all because all my friends were music people. But I might have come across it. And if I watched Hunter x Hunter, I'm sure I would have the same reaction. Although I don't know if my brain would work the same way. I think this is coming up in a later question, but I interpret stories because of music very differently. So yeah, so basically, I just came up with the scenario of me going back and not getting into music. I'd probably be dead. I'd literally be dead. Yeah, like very much literally. Not in like music saved my life because I was sad and now I'm less sad. Like, I 100% would be dead right now if there wasn't for music. So thank you, music. Also, what's your dreams? Same person. Next question. I had to like swipe to the next one and see what's your dreams. Forgot that was right after that. Let's take a swig. There are a lot of answers to that question. I have a short-term one. I have a long-term, like really gay one. Long-term, really gay one is to to find a nice lady or a non-binary pal to grow old with, live on a farm. Ideally, I'd want to like raise. This is an idea I had a while ago that I would be super into. Only if I ever became super financially like secure. Like if I didn't, which is relatively unlikely given that I'm doing this and working at an ice cream shop. But just raise a bunch of 12-year-olds from foster cares that like are too old to be adopted. Like not too old to be adopted, but like most people want to adopt younger people. So like I'd adopt just a bunch of like people that are too old and just like love the crap out of them and be like, you are like, you matter. You can do anything. Like really really just give them everything I can, and that would be super fulfilling to me. No idea if that'll ever happen. Short-term goal, be able to live as an artist, like without a day job. Like that's basically my main. That's the real dream that I have. Like that's the dream that I really want to happen. I want the other one to happen But if it doesn't, I'm not gonna be broken up about it. I want to be able to live as an artist. That's the dream. So I just told you guys a whole gay thing about myself. But by the way, I feel like everyone knows I'm a girl, but like I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm a girl, so just for your information, in case the dress didn't like make it clear. Not that everyone who wears a dress is a girl. You know what? That's a whole other conversation. Don't need to get into that. Squoys Pride Month baby at Squoizoys. By the way, the baby. The reason I laughed is BABEEYYY ... That's just great. That's great. I just woke up. But favorite Pokemon, Slurpuff. Not because of aesthetics, not because of it, because my favorite thing in the world. Catch me on Pokemon Showdown at Evyn space X space Evyn. I basically only do random battles now, which is really disappointing. I used to be like competitive and do OU and UU and like, you know, really I went through all the tiers. I played Cap for a bit. Like it was a good time. But the new gen came and I was into other things and like it just didn't really stick and everything's so different. There's Dynamaxes now. I don't think they're legal in OU anymore. But like a lot of the Pokemon that I really like aren't there anymore. But Slurpuff, the reason I like Slurpuff, my favorite thing in the world is clicking Belly Drum and then having a Citrus Berry and then having a +6 Slurpuff that's super fast. And like people are like, oh Slurpuff, whatever, you know, bleh. And then, you know, and they bring out their Ferrothorn and you click Drain Punch and they die and you're like, there's like very few things that are that satisfying. Ringo at Amyuri. These are all people that I know and I like read their things. I like them all. I like you guys. You guys are all awesome. But I'm not used to saying it out loud, so I kind of shortcut by just reading the word in my brain. So I very much apologize for mispronouncing your names. I should have practiced saying them out loud. And I also shouldn't have gotten any help in terms of pronouncing, because that doesn't help pronouncing. How did you get into analyzing anime/manga? Is it something you already had a knack for, or you just worked on it / continue to work on it? That's also a complicated question, and one that I'm really excited to answer. I really love that question. So, to me, I think there isn't a difference between being a musician and analyzing anime and manga and drawing and writing and probably like playing sports or being really into engineering or anything. It's all the same if you look deep enough into it. And that's something I've been really getting into this recently in my life, just exploring a bunch of different like sciences and things and how they're all the same. And what I mean by that is that it's all about the essence of things. It's all about noticing patterns and finding out what the language of that thing is. Like there's, you know, like maybe a stroke of a pen it can be described with verbs and adjectives. Like it, like, you know, it's fast and it's strong, or it's things like that. And you can transfer these things into writing, and then you can take those concepts and in music, and you can, okay, fast and strong, you know, you know, whatever. Or even if it's like a shape, like it's like this, you know, like, you know, like, so, you know, you can transfer it to that. Or if you're, you know, and so it's all about that. It's all about that. So is it something I already had a knack for? I mean, maybe I have an affinity. I'm sure I have an affinity. I can't claim that everything I do is 100% hard work. I mean, I've worked incredibly hard, and at the same time, like, I have an easier time discerning the languages of things, and not actual language. I'm actually trash at figuring out languages. I was in like a full Spanish immersion school for 5 years. Instead of learning Spanish, I just didn't start my education until 6th grade. Like, I just didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just like, everything's in Spanish. Everyone's beating me up. What's happening? Don't worry about that. That's depressing. We're happy here. This is Evynne here. We're analyzing anime up in here. Oh God, what was I talking about? But you know, so I went on a tangent about languages. I can discern the languages relatively easily. And I don't think that's necessarily all affinity. Like, I've spent so much of my life playing music that I feel like I just kind of developed that muscle, you know, from a very young age. And it's never too late to do that. I mean, it'll take more time. If, you know, I'm starting to learn how to draw, I'm terrible at it. I have such a hard time. I can conceptualize a lot of the concepts, and actually I've developed my ears a lot. I haven't ever developed my eyes, so like seeing form and space, I have a really hard time with that. I'm trying to work on that. You know, that's a skill that I'm gonna have to develop, and I don't necessarily have an affinity for that. And at the same time, I do have an affinity for breaking it down and being like, I have to visualize these things in space and create it on the, like, I'm not saying that I'm like better than anyone, like I'm not. I'm just, that's a skill that I've developed, and anyone can develop it. Yeah, anyone can develop it. It's so, like, you know, it's complicated. There's so many factors, and I can't claim to know exactly why I'm the way I am. I'm going really in depth on it. This is gonna be a really long video. This is already almost an hour long. Jesus Christ. I think I have a decent amount of questions left. I was thinking like, oh yeah, this will be like a 20-minute video. Yeah, but you know, have fun watching a really long video instead of my analysis videos. It's kind of analysis on me. Let's get real meta with this. This is. I'm gonna title this. Oh God, I'm actually gonna title it this. I have to write it down. Okay. Evynne. Jesus, I can't type. Evynne analysis. Analyzes. Shoot. This is gonna be such a bad title. This is the algorithm's gonna hate this. Evynne analyzes Evynne plus face reveal. you gotta have something that pulls the people in. And then I'm gonna do like those 2 lines, and then Q&A. There we go. See, I'm getting all the pieces in there. Maybe the algorithm won't hate this. Maybe that's like a sick name. Maybe that's like a sick title. Maybe this is gonna be my best video. This is my masterpiece. Okay. Nate at oh God, this is another person I read all the time, but I've never thought of how to pronounce this. Crappy Caves. Crappy. It's like Kaes. So Crappy Caves. Yeah. Favorite character to do analysis on. What's your favorite topic / theme to analyze within anime and manga? A topic you've been wanting to cover but haven't gotten around to yet. That's 3 questions. Good questions, all of them. God, this is gonna be a really long video. Jesus Christ, this is gonna be my longest video. Huh, nice. I'm gonna get a bunch of ad revenue even though I'm not monetized. Let's do it, guys and girls and everyone. And in the words of Perfect Cell, and that Technicolor rainbow in between. Well, technically TFS. So whatever. So yeah, first question: favorite character to do an analysis on. Dang it, I've been meaning to redo my first Killua video forever. I love Killua. I love analyzing Killua. And I really want to redo that video because that was my first video, and I spent like months and months doing it. And you know how when you say a word over and over again and it kind of loses its meaning? That's kind of how that script felt to me. Like I just rewrote it, because I didn't have like a deadline at that point. I was like, this is my first video, so I don't have to do it within 2 weeks of anything. I can just do it forever. It's my first thing. And like so much of the video is just me repeating scenes and being like, oh, and then Killua said this, and then they said that, and then they went here, and then they did that. And that's I try so hard to avoid doing that now. Like I assume that people have seen the thing. Like I'm doing an analysis at a frequency where I think like if you haven't seen the show, it's basically pointless like to watch a lot of it. I mean, not necessarily, but that's how I feel about it. Maybe people can just watch it and enjoy it. I actually don't know because I've never watched my videos outside of my own perspective because that's literally impossible. But that being said, wow, that was a really big tangent. I don't really know where I am, but I know where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, Killua, and also Palm. I really like doing Palm was probably my favorite, probably the most like satisfying, I would say, because I didn't really think much of her character. To be honest, like I liked her later on. I didn't really like her before. There was like the whole thing with Gom, which was like really creepy to me. Like I was like, okay, she's a pedophile. Like that's really uncomfortable, and I get that like. Maybe Japanese culture is different. Maybe that's just creepy everywhere. I don't know. I mean, I can't make any sweeping generalizations of Japanese culture, but like Japanese anime culture specifically, like anime culture. Anime culture in general. I don't want to make generalizations of any group or anything. Anime, that's a thing that happens sometimes. It's normalized to some degree. You know, it doesn't make me any less uncomfortable with it. And I was really off put by that, and also just her personality, and I was all just like, grossed out. And then I started writing this analysis, and I was like, well, I gotta write something about the early parts, so I kind of got to where she was. And then I was like, and then something clicked about, I'm not gonna go over the whole video, obviously, but just things started coming together, and it formed the most satisfying puzzle I've ever gone at in a story. It was just like, oh, if this, then that, oh, and that explains that. And like, while it doesn't make it less problematic that she was with a kid, it makes so much sense, like, in the narrative. Like, even though like I would have been more comfortable with her being wanting to be friends with Gon, like that wouldn't have resonated as well because it like contrasted her obsession with Nob and it was very romantic. And so like her feelings were very romantic at that point, and that was kind of how she expressed herself. It was like very complicated. So like, you know, that's a complicated subject. Ideally Gon wouldn't have been a child, but then it wouldn't have been the same story. So like, or maybe if Hong could have been younger, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just fine. I mean, maybe it's a story. I don't know. I mean, it's not like they did anything, so like, whatever. And she obviously changed wanting to be his friend later. So I don't know. It's complicated. I don't ever want to condone like pedophilia in any way. And at the same time, it was just such a satisfying feeling to like, oh, I get this. I get why this is happening. I can understand it on a narrative level. You know, with questionable morality. Not super questionable. It wasn't great, but it was at least good as a story. Okay, what is your favorite topic / theme to analyze? Well, I'm going to say this one short because I don't want to take a super long time with this one. But just the idea that humanity as a whole is pretty messed up, and at the same time, the important part is not but, the important part is and. Humans are also capable of the most beautiful connection and empathy and changing things one person at a time. So like, if you look at systems, it's all like corrupt. It's all meant to oppress. It's all, like it's overwhelming how messed up everything is. If you look into it, if you know, I mean that's a fact. I can't really say that it's not, unfortunately. And at the same time, like we can love each other and we can really fight that machine, not necessarily by breaking it down. I mean that is the best way to do it, and that's the only way that's really gonna fix it. And at the same time, we can change each other's lives one person at a time, and that's so resonant to me because I'm a person. This kind of goes back to the other question about what's my advice for living in a society that perpetuates, I forgot what the exact word what that he used was, but like that is systematically oppresses different groups of people. You know, I try and be someone that listens. I try to be someone who, you know, I try and speak out when I can, say things that are, I don't know, I can connect with people, I can make small scale change, I can do things person to person. I have such extreme social anxiety, like, I can't go to a protest. If I went to a protest, I would, like, literally, I would pass out, and then people would have to, like, deal with me, and then I would be a hindrance. Like, I would actually be a problem at a protest. I would be taking attention to myself from people that should be paid attention to. Because I would be like losing my mind because I can barely handle a room of 6 people, let alone really loud. Like I can't handle loud music. Like it's a whole thing. I can handle loud music, but not like in a party sense. Whatever. It's complicated. So I just went way off topic. Topic you've been wanting to cover but haven't gone around to yet. I'm gonna drink some more water. I've been wanting to make a video about fan service for a long time and the problems I have with it. And the reason that's a little hard to do is one, because I'd have to find a bunch of footage from things with fan service. I don't really watch things with fan service too often. Like if it has, like I tried to watch No Game No Life, and like in the first 30 seconds there's like a panty shot of a child, and I just like couldn't get over that. I was like, I think it happened once, and I was like, oh god, hopefully that's just like a one-time thing. Like I can maybe get over it if it like just happened. And it just like kept happening, and I was just like I can't do this. It's like I don't, and that's not to knock that. I don't know. Maybe I've heard it's an incredible story. I totally like that's cool. That's just a deal breaker for me personally, from what I can handle. And to me, well, I don't want to get into why I dislike fan service. And it's not that I think it's objectively bad. I mean, I think it can be harmful, and at the same time, I don't think objectivity exists. So, like, I can't tell people that watch shows with fan service that they're wrong, or that they're, like, I'm not going to say that. So I would be coming from why I do that. So the first reason is that it's hard to get clips of that, because I don't really know where to get them from. I can make a bunch of claims, and then coming with examples. Like, I know there's, like, things like, you know, the beach episode where, like, someone's, you know, bra falls off and they, like, do this. You know, like, I know that happens, but I don't know any shows. I haven't watched any shows where that happens, because I don't make a point. I don't watch shows that have flagrant fan service. So that's the first reason. The second reason is because I usually don't make controversial claims outside of like social stuff, because I feel like I have an obligation to do that. But when it comes to like story stuff, I mean, I know a bunch of people are going to take it as an attack against fan service, which is not my intent. I just want to say why it bothers me. People can do whatever they want. I'm in terms of that kind of thing, because it's not like, whatever. you know, I try to be like a pretty open person, like not saying this is bad. I make videos about things I love. I don't make videos about, oh, this is the problem with it. This is, I dislike that. No judgment to people who do that. I think it's important to criticize things. And at the same time, that's just not, I just don't get as much out of it. And like I said, I'm doing this for education. I want to study the things I like. I don't want to point out the things that are lacking and things that that are lacking in my opinion of what it means to be lacking in something in a story. Like that's not how I learn as well. Like I feel like that's reaffirming my own ideas, and what I'd rather be doing is taking in new things, being like, okay, now I'm gonna try and figure out everything I can about how this character works and like figure out what makes them tick. I learn a lot more out of that than watching a character that doesn't tick and going, oh, that character doesn't tick because it doesn't display these things that I've seen other characters do before that I already know about. Anyway, like I said, no judgment. Criticism's important. If we didn't have criticism, then, you know, everyone would think everything's out of 10. Not that that's inherently bad, but Jesus Christ, this is a long video. Cool. Next question. God, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, wow. This is going to be a long video. I wonder what the retention rate is. I wonder how many of you are still watching. This is ludicrous. Another question by I already said this name. Why am I having trouble? Squazy Pride Month Baby. Same person, baby. You know that person. At Squaze. Jesus. Squaquays. I'm just saying. Okay, whatever. If you can't answer that, try how's baby going. Well, I did answer that. And I can also answer this. Depends on when you're asking. Actually, no, he's super baby the whole time. What am I talking about? Fighting the whole thing against Pijo was basically like the ultimate I'm baby. Sadly, the worst version of I'm baby. Like a baby with super destructive powers, self-destructive powers, and destructive powers. Not the best. Also, the reason I'm doing so many questions is because I said I was going to answer every question. Like, I responded to everyone's comment and said, okay, I'll answer your question. So I'm going to answer everyone's question. I can't not answer everyone's question and say I'm going to answer everyone's question. I'm not a monster. Not the people who do that. I don't need to backpedal. Animesh at Sing... Oh my gosh, there's another person that I do this all the time. I know who you are. I look at your picture. I have a problem with that. I look at people's pictures to, like their avatars to, like, see who they are. And then when they change it, I, like, won't recognize them for a week. And then I'll be like, oh wait, you're that person. Sing Mad... Oh god. Sing Mad... I can pronounce Togashi characters better than this. I know how to say Saradnik. I should be able to do this. Of course, that's Hunter x Hunter, and I read that a lot of times. Sing Mad and Kuma. Sing Mad and Kuma 1. That's totally wrong, I'm so sorry. Is there any show you love just because it was really enjoyable and you had a great time watching it and doesn't really have any 10 out of 10 plot or character development, but it was just good? No, I can't say that I do. I mean, like, I'm sure that there are a lot of shows that aren't, like, 10 out of 10 those things. I mean, it's hard to say because I like some of those shows, but the thing that keeps me from really liking those shows are the fact that it doesn't have that it doesn't have, like, good plot, or, I mean, character development, there are shows without character development. Nichijou, I actually don't know if there's character development because I haven't watched it all, but I've watched a good, like, 20 episodes. Nichijou is really funny. There is kind of some kind of overarching plot that is kind of clear that it's gonna happen, but I haven't really gotten there yet, so, like, I guess that isn't really valid, but from my perception of what this show is, because that's all I can analyze. So Nichijou, yeah. I really like that show. You guys should watch it. It's super funny. Comedy. If you like shonen, you're probably gonna laugh. Yeah. Fun fact. So I actually do. So at first I said I didn't, but I do. The reason I said I don't is because I wanted to be like, well, like, you know, it's subjective what 10 out of 10 character development and plot is. Like, one person could think the plot's terrible and the other. But, like, Nichijou, the small portion I've seen doesn't have those things. It might overall. I already went over that. NFTGM at once_was_I. I've been sitting on my feet for so long. It's been an hour. I've been doing this for an hour. Good lord. I hope I didn't flash you. I'm probably not even going to watch this video, so I'm just going to hope I didn't. I'm wearing tights, so actually I couldn't flash you. That's good to realize. I have a very simple question. I'm going to try and keep this PG. Kiss, marry, kill. Guts, Serpico, Roderick. I need to know, for academic purposes, of course. I think this one's pretty easy, if I'm being honest. Marry Guts, because I get to kiss him as much as I want. I may be into the feminine side of the spectrum, into my sexuality. But Guts, man, I mean, there's nobody I could know as deep as I know Guts, like in real life. Like, there's no one I could be with in all those moments. I just I couldn't do anything less than marry him if I was given the choice. Like, it would be a pretty terrible life depending on when in the story I become, or like if he just comes to this world, it would probably be pretty terrible too, depending on when he is. He'd be like, "Where am I? You know, where's Costco?" And I'd have to be like, "Oh, you're from a book, dude." You know. But anyway, I would marry Guts, kiss Serpico, because Serpico needs a kiss from someone who's not his sister. Let's be honest. Yeah. And then I'd have to kill Roderick. I like you, Roderick. You're a cool guy. I don't like you enough to put you anywhere even close to Guts or Serpico, if I'm being honest. And Serpico doesn't deserve to die. He needs a break. Everyone in Berserk needs a break, except Roderick. He's been pretty chill. He's had a fine life, you know? He's like one of like 5 people that doesn't need a break, so, you know, he gets to die. That's the world I would have, you know, where like people that, whatever, that's not true. I don't want people to die. This is the last question. We made it. It's only been an hour and 5 minutes and 55 seconds. Can't believe I have to squint. It's like 2.5 arm lengths away. And that's such a terrible, you don't know how long my arm is. Well, I do, so that made sense to me. My perception. I don't know how to say this because, you know what? It's the last question. I actually didn't think of putting these in an order, so I think this might be a pretty anticlimactic last question. Oh no, it isn't. Oh, nice. The last question is perfect. There's 2 parts, so I was looking at the first of 2 questions this person has. Their second question is a very good one to end on. That's very lucky for me. And you. You get a whole arc in this video. You know? I hope you stayed the whole time. If you did, cheers. You know? Time to use my inhaler because I'm having a hard time breathing. If you're under 18, 13, 18 probably? I think 13 is like way too young. 18. I mean, people are gonna do it whenever they want. Just for your brain's sake, like, do it later. I did it when I was in high school, and like, I'm not gonna, like, I'm glad I did in some ways because, you know, it made me friends. I mean, that's a terrible way to say it, but like, you know, it was a thing that opened my mind to a lot of things and it helped me chill the fuck out. Oh my god, I just did it. Well, there you go. End of the video, dropped the F-bomb. I don't even know what I was talking about, doesn't matter. Cheers. How's it going? Good one for the last one. I think that was worthy of the last one. I think that feels good. Okay, so right, I said I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm gonna see if I can get it to show up. Come on. It's just a white light now. If I click on it, will it focus? Yes. Okay, it's all backwards, but you see what I'm talking about, right? The cat thing. Yeah. Oh, that worked. I'm so happy that worked. That's awesome. Okay, is it gonna refocus or do I have to like? Yeah. I can't. Whatever. I can't see any glasses. It's the end. Last question. Let's do it. I'm sure it autofocuses. Who do you like better, Kurapika or Killua? Or some other character, none compared to them in my opinion? I mean, I don't... Oh, God. Well, like, Guts compares to them in my opinion. I personally, Killua and Guts, I have a hard time comparing them. I might like Guts the most. Which is, like, ludicrous for me to think. Like, to even think that I like a character more than Killua. Because Killua, like... I mean, Killua was a big part of why I do what I do. Like, literally. The Killua, the character, inspired me so much. And so many levels. I've been meaning to make a video called Ode to Killua for, like, a long time. Where I just gush about Killua. And analyze, of course, you know. And at the same time, like, a lot of it's going to be so subjective. Like, just being like, oh my god, like, yeah, so, Killua Guts. I love Kurapika. I love big brain characters. He's got a very interesting journey, very, very well written character, very, like, I want to give him a hug. He needs a hug. God, he needs a hug. But, I gotta say, Guts and Killua. Maybe Guts, just a tiny bit below Killua, but, like, they're in the same area. And then, like, Kurapika. But, like, Gon's up there. It's like a cluster. I have a hard time saying, like, what my favorite is, because I like them for such different reasons, you know? It's, like, not the same... It's like that thing in Donnie Darko. This is like, this is out, but like, You know, where you've got like love and it was either fear or hate. I think it was fear. And then like, you know, where on this scale, you know, is this action that you were doing? And then Donnie goes up and puts like an X here, and was like, you know, it's not between those two things. That's how I feel very much when I'm comparing either stories or characters, because the reasons I care about them are different. Like, oh, Gurren Lagann. I didn't mention Gurren Lagann. I need to rewatch that because I haven't seen that in a long time, so my memory is so like faded. And I only watched it once, but I know I need to watch it more. Like, you know, and the reasons I like Gurren Lagann are so different from Hunter x Hunter. Like so different. And the reason I like Berserk is so different. Like, it's all like so. I don't know how to put them on the same scale. I don't know how to put them with the same numbers. I mean, how in the world do I even do that? I don't know how other, like, that's hard. You guys are impressive that you can do that, honestly. I have no clue. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's my answer. Guts, Killua, Karate Kagon. Probably more, but those are the ones that are in my head. I mean, Griffiths is pretty cool, but I mean, I love him. Amazing. I'm not saying he's not an incredible character. I'm just saying he might not be like with those. I mean, like, you know, also like they're over here, like it's and over there, like there's you know, there's a lot of it's hard to, you know. And what are some of your non-YouTube goals? Great question to end it out with. Writing my own story. That's really, I mean, I've got the first 12 chapters written out. First 4 of them I storyboarded. I storyboarded out the 5th one, and then accidentally deleted it. And I just like haven't been able to do any. I haven't been able to storyboard any since. Like I've written some chapters out, like, you know, this happens and this character says this, and like, but I haven't really paneled it out because I'm really interested in paneling and I want to make it an experience that you can really get through. You know, so, but yeah, I really want that story to finish. I don't care if it's all stick figures. I mean, I do. I would rather it be better than that. I mean, I feel like the story I have the whole thing planned out, like beginning to end, like everything. I totally know, like I've got this. Like I figured out the politics and the like how that intersects with the religion and how that intersects with like quote truth and how like that correlates with the characters' arcs and like the difference between discovering things within yourself and discovering things about the world and like how those things intersect. It's like I'm trying to make it all connect, and then there's like this whole war going on, and then there's race politics that also like it all kind of conglomerates into this one thing. I hope. Maybe I'm talking it up too much. That's just like what I've got in my head. That's like what I'm picturing when I picture it. I don't like, obviously what I'm picturing is not going to be the same thing that exists because, you know, perception is different than reality. And at the same time, I'm going to try my best to create a story that's engaging and that can maybe make some people think. Maybe, hopefully, move some people. I'm putting a lot of myself into it. A lot of characters have things that are very dear to me, parts of their life that are very dear to me. Not necessarily like, you know, they're not me, but and they're like, you know, they're different. Whatever. I really get too into it. But needless to say, I'm very excited about it. So, if you're still here, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. You are the coolest cat. And I say we have one final celebratory, you know, I love how I'm just ashing this on the cardboard box that I have here. I mean, it's not going to like burn down or anything. It's just, I'm going to have to like shovel it into the trash anyway later. So, it's just kind of silly that I'm doing it. Silly? I don't know. I just don't have an ashtray on me. That's not really silly. It's just not being prepared, really. That's just, it's negligence. It's, unprofessionalism, really. This has been a very professional production. I'd like you to say hi to the camera people. There are several of them. Wave all you people. Yeah, they're all here. They're all giving you thumbs up. They're all like, yeah, you know, great job. You know, the 6 different camera angles we've got on you. We're gonna edit that together real well. I really hope they don't mess that up. Terry. Okay. Alright, well, it was nice. Great time. Enjoyed having a one-sided conversation with you. can continue in the comments. Here we are. Bloop.